But the other thing we were going to talk about is these dudes got a comic book coming out. It's a series is called In Our Dreams Awake, and the Kickstarter. There you go. For the people watching, listening, they're holding up the covers and T-shirts with the covers on them, which I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get when you pledge for the Kickstarter this on October 8th, starting October 8th. And one thing I was going to ask is, either one of y'all, what's the general premise of this parallel reality show, which is I don't want to say not related to Sliders, but kind of whatever it's in the same space. But what is In Our Dreams Awake about?
John, you got that or me?
You can do it. Go ahead.
Okay, so Jason Byron is a painter in a fantasy world where technology is banned after the mages took over. When he falls asleep, Jason Byron is leader of a gang in a cyberpunk reality where chum is the drug of choice and he rules the canals fighting aliens. And when he falls asleep, he wakes up as Jason Byron painter. And so the cycle goes. What is reality and what is the dream? What is the life he wants to live? In each one, he has a love, but they're not the same. In each one, he has a life, but they're not the same. What is going to be the end? He does not know when he is asleep, and he does not know when he is awake.
Nice.
In Our Dreams Awake.
There you go.
Hey,
that's the pitch. That was good. I'm a fan of both of y'all. Like I said, John and I go back, Egg and I go back with the writing, but like I've read the first two issues. I've had a chance to read the first two issues, and I'm a big fan of the concept, especially as a Sliders fan, especially as the idea of like parallel worlds and kind of the multiverse. But I think what y'all do very expertly, and especially with the art team, is there's this balance where you care. There are stakes, right? So this is not like you bobsled into a universe, and it seems as if the existence of each person is like having an effect on the other, and and I love that about it, and I love the extreme settings, differences with the settings. So I'm glad that y'all are continuing the series, and I think it's going for 4 issues, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll do 4 total. So.
Okay.
And the 4th one is basically 90% done. So
okay,
good deal.
We with issue 3 is all done, literally letters, colors, everything. So once we launch and once the campaign wraps up, assuming we fund, and we're not really asking for a ton, it's mostly just to cover the print costs. Like basically as soon as it's over, I can send digital copies out that next day roughly, and people can read it. But
that's what's up.
There's too much stress on the other way, having done it the other way a couple of times where it's like those dates you put out, you're like, oh, that's like 4 months away, that's 5 months away, and then those months eat away quick, and and as a writer, like I only have so much control over how long it takes somebody to, and I understand art takes time, doing letters, colors, inks all take time. So like, if I can have all that done beforehand, it's going to lower our stress levels anyway. And I think hopefully it builds some confidence with those people that back.
Good deal.
Indeed.
I would like to say, as a glowing endorsement of this project, when I was a child living in the house with no siblings, I have an overactive imagination. And this book, the concept itself, so even with Sliders, when we go into every episode, I do not read the description. I just watch the episode, and then when we're on air, I'll read it for the first time, and because I'm like, okay, let me just jump in and see what's going on. Then we discuss it. Oh, does it make sense or whatnot? That's kind of the way I felt with this book. With reading this story, it took me right back to my childhood, where this was literally a dream of mine. I would say, okay, well, I'll go to sleep, and I'm 30 years old, and I have my own car, and this and that. And in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, of course, when you go to sleep, you have a whole nother life that you lead. I was a child with an overactive imagination, and to read your project and it reminded me of me being a kid having that same ideal. It felt so. I know I'm probably projecting onto it. It's a good book, y'all. It's a good project, but I know I'm probably putting a lot of my nostalgic thoughts onto it. But it's like seeing something that you loved as a kid being taken so much more seriously as an adult.
Yeah.
Even if it's something like, oh, I read X-Men as a kid, and and then you get to 2001, and then you get to finally see them live action on screen. So that alone, anyone who has an active imagination, anyone who was the artistic child, any of that, I think this is definitely the book for it, regardless to if that's paint, sculpting, writing, scrapbooking, whatever. I think this speaks to so many different parts of us, the royal us, I guess. So I'll stop there because I can rave. Like I'm very invested. This book has changed my terminology. I will no longer say the F word. I'll be saying Keith. So y'all got it.
Awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate that. That's awesome.
That's Keith and awesome.
Yeah, it is.
But thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
We were. I'm going to give a stupid backstory. It's a big tangent. We went and one of our buddies. We love him dearly. We do role playing games. Okay, so we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. He's playing an elf, and he is drunk. So his elf had some very elven name. So I just kept calling his character Keith. Okay? Like, Keith, we gotta go, Keith, and like it just slowly became a curse, right? Like, Keith, what are you doing? And so when we got over doing the comic, I'm like, putting that in. Now everyone cusses by saying Keith, and I'm feeling that like once we get to the trade, it'll make sense. It's individual issues. Bless your heart for being like, you know what? I'm gonna take Keithan as my nickname.
Love it, man.
One thing. I'm sorry.
Oh no, please.
No. I was going to ask because, like I said, we're this is all parallel, like a parallel universe, multiverse, or whatever. But podcasts, like as far as the topics. But I was wondering, like, what about the concept of like parallel universes or realities? What aspects of that concept do you try to bring forth in the series, or what about this made you decide to do like these parallel tell this type of story?
Yeah, I mean, I think
John, go first.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, some of it was born out of this idea of, I mean, this project's like over a decade and a half old, like really. I mean, so it's and so Egg and I would talk, same as you and I, Robert, we talk comics and ideas and stories or whatever, and kind of grew out of this what if scenario, this idea of like, what if the grass was greener, or what if it's not greener? And then Egg hit up with the idea of like, well, what if we do that, but because we were, we had no money. So it's like, well, what if we had two art teams and then each of us wrote a different part? So like obviously we're editing each other and we're talking about the story, but it's going to feel super different than if you just had one art team trying to do two different things or whatever. And I think that all of that kind of led to that idea of this is how the sliders, a lot of times they slide to just different versions of San Francisco, right? So it's the same sets, it's the same whatever. With this, it's like, no, we're not only going from like a fantasy, world where like technology has lost the game. Now we're going to go to almost the complete opposite, which is a futuristic world where tech is everything, but like there's still, we have aliens and we have all this stuff that like the other more steampunky kind of thing doesn't have. So I think that it was born out of both conversations. How can we actually do this comic, like the real world part, and then how do we make this where we both have our own voice, and we're not overriding one another.
Well, and that's one of the things that I love. There's a transition like maybe like halfway through. So you have like 25 pages, and then like issue page 14 or like 13 is when you kind of switch over to. So like rather than dedicating like issue 1 to this world or issue 2 to the other world, the fact that, and so I need people to understand how impressive this is for y'all coming at this, and also with the art team, that being able to find your own voice with each of the scripts that you're writing, but then also the same thing with the tone, because the art also is going to inform the tone of what you're doing to a certain extent. I don't see even the big two doing that, right? So I think that should be kind of applauded, and you just applaud it, because it's a really cool feat to see. And you also, as a reader, are getting double for one issue, right? So I like that, because I think most people might come to this expecting, one world, other world, one world, other world, and then like issue 5, if you were doing issue 5, be like where it all comes together. So as a writer, that's pretty cool to hear that, that's how y'all are coming at this, and I think it works really well.
Well, spoiler alert for the 3rd issue, because the first 2 issues is very much half the comics kind of in one world, half the comic is in another, and there's hard split between the two. As the story's progressing, his things are starting to get bad in both worlds, and those 2 worlds are starting to collide a little bit, and so there's a little more of cuts between the worlds. So you may only spend a couple of pages in one world and then jump to the other world and then jump back. And so to try to mirror the kind of frantic pieces of his life spiraling out of control, we're like, okay, now we've got to do it. It's got to be like this a little bit more than, and hopefully, because we had those first 2 issues and you've had roughly 24 pages in each world already, now the audience will be willing to go on the little more crazy part of the ride as we try to bring it all into the stables.
I'm gonna so John mentioned this is well over a decade in the making. You're talking about the other dream worlds, right? Not necessarily other dimensions, but other dream worlds. There are three other stories that at some point in time, because I've been the holdup here, that I have tried to do. The very original artist that we had working on this, that did not work out, but turned in a lot of pages. Then I tried to draw. I'm not an artist. It's really bad. But that was different, right? And did a different story for that. So different universe. Then we tried this one. It was a different universe. I got another friend that tried it. That did not work out. Finally got Roland's for my part. So each time I didn't just say, well, here's the same script, let's try it all again. Tried to tailor it to the artist and also to make a new universe. So there's a lot of like Easter eggs that only I and John will ever see, because those didn't work out. But John all along was working with Edgar Salazar, who is an amazing artist. He's a professional comic book artist today. Does a lot of work for Dark Horse. Has drawn most of the Stranger Things comics.
Oh, wow.
So his work is amazing. It's just very early stuff, but it's still great. Roland's, who draws my part of it, I really like, because it's still got that realistic tone that Edgar has, but it's grittier. It looks more cyberpunk. The world's supposed to be worse. John's world's a lot brighter, a lot happier. And the two have a nice contrast without being night and day different art styles.
Yeah,
I agree.
So
nice. Yeah, Rhayne, did you have anything? Because I don't want to.
Well, just the cast of characters. I don't want to get, I guess, maybe too deep, because I don't want to spoil anything. But I do. When you think of let's just say like the X-Men, you got your psychic, you got your powerhouse strength person, you got you have all these roles that people fit into. This story, however, does not feel paint by numbers, and that's not even a dig at anyone where that is the story that you give. To the point where, and I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a certain hairy, furry person or entity that I immediately fell for, and I don't care if they're evil or good. I want to know because it's so because that in particular they're not extreme, so to speak, because I feel like you could have easily gone with like, look at this, I don't know, Optimus Prime version of this thing, and it's not, and that's what I think also makes it so effective, like that particular character, because they are so simple, so to speak. I don't know. I think at this point I'm rambling, but like that, I was like, I expected the unexpected because I was like, what's going on here? But to wrap it up, I love the character work in both worlds. I like how they match each other, but then they're also different. And I think that you could strip the art from it, and I think the story still holds, and I think vice versa. You could strip the words from it, and I think you can infer a lot from just the art. So I think phenomenal job with both. Like together is this marriage of a wonderful book, sure, but I think separately, I may get some details wrong, but I think I could possibly get the gist of the story, and I think that's really the strength in the storytelling with this project. So, yeah.
One less John. As long as we got cats in it, we're good.
Okay, I didn't want to spoil.
They're on the covers, so we're good.
That was so fun. That was so fun.
That came about because when we did the Kickstarter, one of the reward levels was get drawn into the book, and the individual that picked that reward was like, "I don't want to be drawn in the book. Draw my cats."
Oh wow!
And my artist was like, "Cool, cats are easy to draw. Send me some pictures."
That is so dope. I love that. It's like we have this big like crustacean, but then you got this cat that's just a regular house cat. He's like, it was like a general or so. I was like, bro, this is so cool. I love that.
It really worked out. Really worked out.
I love that. So
that's one thing I was going to ask. Are there, so after this fourth issue, I'm pretty sure like the story is, it's going to be kind of done, but are there any plans to like revisit either any of these worlds, and then also have y'all thought about like doing this as prose, as a book, as fiction, set within, because I think both of them, lend themselves to, to a book, like I could see a novella or a short story, a series of short stories set between these worlds, focus on the certain hairy character that you mentioned, Rhayne mentioned. So any plans, for future comics or even books, to come into this world?
No, it's a fair question. So we have had some discussion about something after this in terms of doing maybe another story or something, but we never got more than like, hey, maybe we should get this one done first. In terms of prose, I tried that for a minute. It turned out that was not egg strength. And I left that to John. So if there ends up being any prose, I will just be the reader.
Okay. What about for you, John? Any desire to write any books like?
I mean, maybe. And sorry, my internet blipped there for a minute, but I think that, like Egg was saying, kind of the big push is to get this story done, since it's been this thing that's kind of been in the background of life for so long. So I feel like if I was going to do a story, it would probably be, maybe it would be a similar concept, but it wouldn't be with the same characters. Maybe spin off that idea into something else. But hopefully the 4 issues gives a satisfying conclusion to the story, to the point that like maybe let the man live one life, maybe not ruin all his lives. But yeah, I mean, as you well know, I mean, I love the parallel world thing anyway, so I've definitely dabbled in that on other things that I've written. So I'm never going to stray too far from that, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you might have to crossover.
Might have to.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I need to. I got 10 more pages, John. I got it. I got 10 more pages. It's coming. But yeah. So, give our listeners or viewers, information about the Kickstarter, when it'll launch, and I guess any, rewards that they should look out for.
Yeah, so we're launching basically around noon on Wednesday. So this Wednesday, I don't know exactly when y'all's episodes comes out, but it'll be October 8th. So hopefully it'll be live basically by the time they go. If you do a search of In Our Dreams Awake #3, it should take you to the Kickstarter page. And as far as the rewards, we don't have a ton of like extraneous ones. I feel like we've kind of like pared it down to, we have our kind of main fantasy cover. We have a cover that's the cyberpunk cover that actually is modeled after the $6 Million Man, one of those images. We have catch-up reward levels. So like if you missed any of the, issue 2 or issue 1, or any of the covers there, we do have a drawn into the comics, since, like I said, we're 90% done with issue 4. The actual outstanding thing would be a couple of pages devoted to the cameos of any characters that get drawn in, and or their cats, as always. And otherwise, like, there are some add-ons of just other comics that I've worked on, other things that Egg's worked on that you can do for the campaign. But yeah, overall, like I said, the initial goal is just $500, and that's really to cover the print cost, because it's a story that, I know everybody says this, but it's like a story we believe in. It's a story I want to get out there. I want people to read it. So it's like, if that's the biggest goal, then let's get there as best we can.
Nice. So. Nice. Well, everybody, pledge, share. And pledge and share some more. So
yeah, absolutely. We'll take all the help we can get. We appreciate y'all letting us come on and promote it and talk some sliders in the meantime too.
Yes, we appreciate y'all. This is the first time we've done this for sliders, right?
Yeah.
I think like Rhayne used to, you and Cole used to open doors for Black Lightning Matters for guests to come on and talk about that. But yeah, for this is the first time. So we appreciate y'all coming on, talking about sliders and, giving us the rundown on In Our Dreams Awake. So we appreciate that. And,
awesome.
And I hope y'all fund the first day, first week.
All the fingers crossed on that.
Yes, indeed. Well, this will actually go up on that day. I think it may be like, don't give me the line, but maybe like 7, 8 in the morning that day. So if you're viewing or listening to this, the link will be in the show notes for Kickstarter for the 3rd issue. So go ahead and hit that link and get us to that goal. Yes, indeed.
I think I think we're about to slide up out of here. There you go. Right.
See what you did there.
Yeah. See, they pay me for this.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, we will. One, thank you guys so much for joining us on this slide. And we open invitation, please return when you'd like. Jump back on the timer whenever you're ready. We are here and happy for you. And again, listeners, you heard this more than once. Pledge. Go to the link. Kick and start. Go and fund in me.
You didn't even say share. You said pledge.
Yeah, I mean share. Sure, share what you have pledged. No. So yes,
this is a smart gentleman. You should all listen to him.
I'm saying. So we're definitely going to have those links there. And again, we appreciate y'all. And then Robert, I guess let the folks know where they can find you, and then we can bank it, bounce on out.
Yeah, we can. Well, y'all can find me at robertkjeffrey.com, robertkjeffrey.com on Instagram. I am robert.k.jeffrey, and on Blue Sky, something. And because I've been actually streaming on Twitter, on Twitch. My username on there is Sync RKJ, so SYNCH RKJ. We've been running what is it, the Division 2, which has been pretty fun. So yeah, check me out on Twitch. But yeah, those are all the places you can find me.
Good
so
deal.
yeah, thanks again for y'all being here.
Thank you for having us so much.
Absolutely, we really appreciate it.
Of course. Well, we'll go ahead and make sure add those links in the show notes, and then your Twitch, Robert. The Kickstarter, of course, will be there, and then follow me. Just Carefree Black Nerd, Carefree Blur, wherever. Just search it. The links will be in the show notes. I don't know what my handles are. I just log on to these apps. I'm sorry. So I don't know. I guess until next time, stay carefree, stay nerdy, stay geeky, and stay kicking and starting the Kickstarter. Stay doing it. I'm not going to stop yelling. Stay doing that, sliders. All right, y'all.